What is up, ladies and gentlemen? AA coming at you live and in person yet again. So, it is the next day, and as you can see, the sun is shining. So it was said that it was going to rain for the next 2 or 3 days, and, well, apparently that happened. Well, in South Carolina, it happens all the time like that. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and see about getting this Volkswagen started up. I don't know how long it's been sitting. I know he said he bought it about 3 years ago. They did about $1,200 worth of work to it. All looks fairly decent. We'll go out and take a look at it real quick. But we're going to see if we can at least get it fired up today. Just real quick, I'm going to give you a walk around. I did wash it up, so you can see it cleaned up very well. Now, the clear coat on this aftermarket paint job is flaking off. It's no big deal. I think a wet sand, once we get it all off, found a few common rust areas here at the bottom of the door. So I know these need to be replaced, and there's some at the trunk. But overall, she is a fairly sound body. All right. Fuel tank looks like it's been replaced, and the sending unit, I can tell, has definitely been replaced. Check this out. And the old original jacks. Awesome sauce, right? Inside, we need some new seats, of course. These seats suck anyhow. So, got the original owner's manual. It says 64,000 on it. He said it was 68. I don't know. I'm not really worried about it. I've always loved these little cars. Fourth one I've owned. So, this car actually came from Houston, Texas. Pretty cool, huh? Now, when people think of Volkswagen, they think of Bug or the Beetle. I think it's probably the car that probably really made them famous. But you know, it came out in 1938. They started putting air conditioning in these cars in 1967. But we all come to know and love the Bug. Now, the Italian word, I think it's Italian, maybe it's French, one or the other, for, I think it's like beautiful princess or something like that. Or no, beautiful goddess. It's Audi. So you got Bugatti. In 1998, the Volkswagen Group had a subsidiary company that they started called Bugatti. But that is not how it got its name. It got its name because of Mr. Bugatti that pretty much created the car. So, still neat though. Alright, let's crack her open and see what we got here. 1600cc dual port. Now, we got the 009 distributor. That's going to have to be changed to either a Bosch 009 centrifugal advance or a Pentronic flamethrower electronic ignition. Alright, as far as getting it running, I've got some cracked vacuum plugs here. It's got to be replaced. Fuel lines are cracked. Needs a fuel filter. Alright, so we got to go get some things from the store real quick, and then we'll put some power to it and turn it on and see if there's any gas in the fuel tank. If so, I'll have to drop it out or lift it out and get that properly removed and disposed of and flush the system. Now, normally on something like this, the last time, first thing I did was check the oil. The oil was pretty dirty. This oil is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty clean. You can't see it. But anyhow, it's actually pretty clean. He said he only drove about 1,000 miles. So normally I would check the point clearance. I would check the valve clearance. I would, and of course, clean out the fuel system and whatnot. I don't think I'm going to do that this time, being that it hasn't been driven very much. And I've already popped the distributor cap off, and it actually looks really clean in there. So we're just going to replace some fuel lines, and we're going to put some power to it and get some good clean gas in it and see if we can't get this thing to run and see where we at as far as running condition. Alright, so I've gotten the fuel filter off of it, and the air filter. These air filters a little bit different. See how they're built. The air comes in, and anything, debris is supposed to be trapped in that oil. I don't like them filter types, but anyhow, upon first inspection, this thing is gummy. So that tells me that gas has been sitting in it a while. I have tried to hit it with some carburetor cleaner and see if I can't get it to unfreeze, and hopefully when we get it running. That just worries me about the actual gas tank and the lines actually having gummed up fuel in them that's been sitting and evaporated out. So it's getting a little bit better, but it still worries me. So we might need an actual carb rebuild and cleanup. We'll find out. Alright, there is no footage between here and there, basically because everybody knows how to cut hoses and put them on. It's a 1/4 inch fuel hose, but it's a little bit too big. This is a Mr. Gasket see-through glass. I've always liked those. But all the vacuum ports have been changed out and whatnot, and I've got another issue. So I went in there to try to turn the ignition over, and the battery's dead. So I tried to jump it off. Didn't work. Went and got a new battery, and still nothing. So if you can see this thing is, guys, this car is 51 years old. I can't tell you how many times it's been up and down. This is really sloppy, and I'm thinking the problem is in the ignition switch itself, which is not hard to change out. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to have to order one of those and continuing on from there before we can check to even start the car over. But the radio works, and the fan works, and the lights work, and windshield wipers work, and the emergency flashes work. Everything works, just not the ignition switch so much. So cut the ignition on and everything will work. I got the battery disconnected now, but nothing on the gauge will work. Nothing on the gauge cluster will work. So alright, so this adventure takes yet a turn already, and to be expected from a 50-year-old car. So I can only imagine how many times this key's been turned in 50 years. And damn, spider web. If we look at the plate that was left on it, we see September of 09. Actually, September 2017, I think. I don't know how to read these damn things. This says September 09. This says September 17. So 2017, which would have been 3 or 4 years ago. So, alright. On to electrical problems. So we're going to see how to change the ignition switch. I've done this before. It's not a hard process. But in the process, I also need to change the turn signal mechanism and that. The horns up under here. Somebody changed all that. Alright guys, well, can't win them all. What's to be expected from something that's been sitting up, and you know, it's 50 years old. So in the next video, once I get the parts in, it'll be changing out the turn signal switch as well as the ignition switch on a 71 Volkswagen standard Beetle. Hopefully that fixes the problem. If it doesn't, we'll move on to the next thing. Y'all be well, be safe, love, peace, and chicken grease.